Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is February 4th, 2023, and I'm your co-host, the Fat Wizard, joined today by...
Alamaxia.
And Lobos.
And today we're taking a look at Faxanadu on the NES. This one was released in North America in August 1989. Good old late 80s there.
In Japan, it was released for the Famicom in 1987.
Oh,
which...
you're gonna, oh, okay, go do it. Spoil it.
Nope, go ahead.
What's the name? Were you gonna say what Faxanadu means?
Yes.
Oh. All right. Well, that was in my intro. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I kind of said like, "Hey, you got to listen to it a whole hour to figure this out." But go ahead, Alamaxia.
No. We
can
get
wait. That user retention. We'll tell you what is Faxanadu.
They're already Googling it.
No, don't Google it. I see you. Stop that. Hey, sounds like we're wasting time. It is because this game's kind of short, so we got some kind of filler stuff here. But let me first off, because we never talk about the music, and I just want to say the intro song to this game, I don't know if Lobos is going to agree with me, but I would say top 5 NES intro songs ever.
Whoa.
It's so good.
Whoa.
It is such a good, it's like 45 seconds long. It hits the beat. It's so good.
I would need to hear the intro track again. I didn't dawdle on that screen very much.
It's 8-bit thrash metal. It's wonderful.
Thrash metal. Oh, man. Nice.
It's even they play it at the end of the game also. So.
Okay.
It's a real big banger. So I do recommend people go look at the Faxanadu intro music, because we always forget about the music.
Really good.
Listen to the music. Yeah.
I did enjoy the music of the game a lot myself.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so this game is really cool, and I don't know, is this a popular game or not? Because I feel like everyone has heard of it, but like,
right.
it's not like one of those like pillar. It's not like a Super Metroid. Well, it's not like a Metroid.
I feel like it's because this game is so incredibly vague, and the way it starts out it feels like kind of Dark Souls. You're just this naked guy walking into a town, and you just run across it and it kills you. And you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And you resurrect at the guru.
Yeah. So
totally
it
isn't
starts
in a
off.
church.
It starts off, and I think you're a hero, and you're returning home, and the king wants to meet you right away. And so we are chatting with the king. There's a couple buildings. We'll get back to those buildings. But I guess the gist of the story is that there's these dwarves, which are evil. We'll talk about the dwarves later because they look really weird. And then the elves are kind of getting killed by the dwarves. I think that's more or less the story. And so you, as this hero, need to go out and kill the dwarves, or like cure the dwarves or something. And the king gives you 1,500 golds. I think he actually calls it golds.
Oh, yeah.
It is golds.
Golds.
I think golds is the official currency.
Okay.
Yeah, golds. Yeah.
Why not?
200
dollars, golds. It makes sense,
Golds.
right?
Yeah.
So what I'm doing here in the start of the town is you go around, you go to a martial arts instructor. I guess he teaches you how to fight, and then a wizard dude, he teaches you how to do magic. But it does cost money, so I'm really curious. Like, could you get in a situation where you can't win the game because you didn't learn how to fight or cast spells, and you can't kill anything to get money?
No, go ahead, Lobos.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that just refills those bars, and because
is that what that does?
Because you can keep doing it, and it just. But especially the fighter guy, he's like, "Would you like me to train you in martial arts?" And I was like, "Yes." And then it filled up my health meter, which is P, I guess, power probably.
Oh yeah.
And so then I was like, "Okay, what did I learn?" I don't know if you know something different.
A little bit more powerful. You can take a hit.
You what now?
You learned you can take a hit.
Oh. Perfect.
That's weird, yeah. So I guess you don't have to learn magic or...
No. I don't think you have to. I mean, I did both just in case, but I think that's all it does is refill your...
Yeah, that is literally all it does is refill your stuff. You're better off going to the little meat vendor there and getting some food.
I feel ripped off now. Because that was like half my money I spent on that. Anyway, I got myself a fancy little dagger, and you just walk out of the town, and there are some this game has some weird monsters. So the first thing you have The first type of monster you see is like a little spiky ball that moves on the ground. If you kill him,
Standard,
he
yeah.
drops
Bread.
like bread.
I think it's
which-
bread. Yeah.
It's bread. And then you have this Cyclops guy that jumps on two legs.
Monodrons.
Monodrons. And
Monodrons.
I know you got probably a sheet of paper with all
I-
the character names.
I got the enemy list pulled up because these enemies are what the heck.
All right, what are those little spiky ball things called?
Zazuras.
Zazura.
Man, I love monster names from old retro games because they make no sense.
Right.
So those mono whatevers drop some money, and you can actually farm that. And then we're just going through, and there's some little zombie guys, and we're killing them. But here's something I really wanted to see what you would do, Lobos, because near the beginning of the game, you go into a store, and you see some really heckin' cool items. We've got, I think, the death magic and a magic shield, and so the magic shield is 7,600, death is 125.
12,500.
12,500, and I'm sitting here with 800 gold. So you can go from screen to screen and grind out like 50 gold at a time. And I really wanted to know, Lobos, did you do that or not?
I didn't even find that shop. That shop right there that you found. I did grind out every item that I found, and I was like, okay, I'll buy that. And I also, at the beginning, you can open the menu and you can check equipment, item, magic, that sort of thing. And there's also a player menu that shows you how much XP to your next level or your next rank. So I grinded that up right in the first town before I left. And turns out that's kind of it's an interesting mechanic because the more XP you have, some things are harder. Like
Yeah,
a little.
so weird.
I don't know all the extents of it, but I don't think you get any more powerful or anything for XP. So
the wing boots
Mhm.
are one that is a detriment to leveling up.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you were thinking
yeah,
of.
that's the only thing I know is that they last less time the higher level you are.
I think that's probably a bug because there's another situation where there's a bug in an item you get, and so you could kind of think like maybe they did the wrong order of operations there for the math.
Well, it might have just been
Nintendo game
to challenge
bugs?
them, you know?
No.
You know, if you're doing well, then they're like, okay, we'll challenge you and we'll make this item less effective. I don't know.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Hey, I did want to say we just went to. Let me talk a little bit about the gurus because I have some little fun things for people in the video. So this game uses a password system to save your progress. You know, think of like Mega Man where you beat a stage and it's like here's the progress. But you know, it stores like your levels and the items you have. So so you go to the guru and the guru will give you that information. And so I've left a bunch of those in the video because I thought it would be kind of cool. Like if people want to jump in and be like, oh, I want to play where, Saturday morning gaming show crew was at this point in the video.
Nice.
You can enter in that password. So if you do that, I would love to hear like your thoughts there. I think that's kind of cool.
That is cool. And I didn't know what it was the first time I saw it, so I was like, "What is he saying to me?" It was just, it's just like a string of letters. Yeah,
I bet it could have been a secret code, right? Yeah.
right. Yeah. I don't even know where you put that. I guess there's a continue or something on the main screen.
Yes, yeah. So when you go to the main screen, there's start and then continue.
Okay,
you
okay.
probably just use save states, right, for your NES or emulator or whatever.
Well, I played it straight through. I didn't save state too hard, but yeah, like for when I took one break, then I did save state and close it, and then boom, yeah.
Yeah, I think you beat it in like 2 sessions, right?
Yeah. Not very long.
Now, once you have that starting town, and then you leave that area, and there's that area where you can grind over and over and over for the
I spent
equipment
a lot
there.
of time there.
Did you actually get the stuff there?
I got the magic shield and death.
Oh, goodness.
And death cheesed the good first 9/10 of the game.
Oh,
nice.
nice.
It was
I
OP.
applaud the game for doing that. It's like, hey, if you want to, it's there. It's going to take you some time. It's available. What's really actually interesting is once you leave that area and go into the first town, that is sealed off from you. You were not allowed to go back there.
Wow.
So we might be able to if you have wing boots, but you're not allowed to
fair.
normally. So you can't be like, oh, now I have enough. Nope, you gotta get that stuff later. So I go into that town, the first, I guess it would be the second town, and I pick up a little shield, and you can see, he's got a little tiny shield on him, and I think that reduces a little bit of the magic damage if you get hit by it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you're not mid attack because he pulls his shield away when you attack, then it'll at least block some of the damage.
Yeah, you can hear the ting, attack. But like some of them were just dealing so much damage as it was, and I was like, this is not doing very much, but whatever. It would have been worse without it.
I want to give you guys a little trivia here, or fun little bit. What is the name of that enemy that we're fighting right there? What do you think the name of that is?
Probably Blue Goblin.
Goat demon.
Snowman.
Snowman?
Okay.
It is. Okay. Yeah, I guess.
All right. What is this? This next one we're fighting? It looks like a blue grasshopper kind of. What is his name?
Thing.
Ikeda. It kind of looks like a chameleon, like a weird bipedal chameleon.
For the longest time, when I saw it, I thought it was like two beings. It twisted on themselves, but then I finally saw the head of it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, no, it's not."
Well, we're going to our first dragon, and I'm fast forwarding the footage. This is how you beat this thing. You just stand in this little shelf area and keep stabbing, and eventually he will come close to you, and then you'll just ping him once, and you will not get hit. And I'm curious, Alamaxia, Alamaxia, you probably used the death magic. Lobos, did you?
One shot of death.
Wow. I actually, I came here to this dungeon. I died to this boss. One of the random enemies dropped a matic, which is a required item to push to move on. This auto guaranteed drops it when you kill him, but one of the spiky dudes just dropped it randomly.
Really? That's cool.
So I moved on, and I couldn't come back without another matic because they reclose any doors or whatever you open. And you got to have the thing again. So I came back like 3 dungeons later, but generally with this enemy type, I would just jump at it and shoot magic at the same time and just kind of overwhelm it. I would take damage, but it would die fast enough, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, as you start getting more and more money, you can really just kind of face tank stuff with the red potions, and we'll definitely see a bunch of that. But yeah, with that first dragon killed, he drops like 4 or 5 gold pieces you can pick up, and then a matic. And then you can use that to get to the next area because there's this kind of blockage there. And then, like Lobos said, once you leave the screen with that blockage, you cannot get back. So it does it's very linear. Now
you can get back.
No, you can, but you just have to find another matic.
Yes,
there's a lot of shops with matics later on.
Yeah, later on.
Yeah. So later on,
it's a long walk back. A long walk. But now we're climbing the tree.
Yes, so we'll get into that in just a second. I wanted to talk about this monster we're fighting because we see a bunch of them. This one actually looked like a snowman.
Yeah,
right? It's like a big bulbous, cloaked figure, and then it shoots this magic at you. And then again, you can use that shield if you're standing still to block a little bit of that, or you can just jump over that and then and pop them for a little damage.
Did either of you notice that if you did jump and like hit something on the top of the head, you would sometimes get like 2 or 3 hits on them at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're close, then you would hit it, knock it back, but not out of your hitbox, so you would hit it twice. So I use that a lot when farming.
So you talked about the tree here, Alamaxis. You want to talk a little bit more about what this tree is?
Yeah, so the town that you start out in, Aeolus, is at the base of this large tree that is basically the life-giving tree for the elves. And being, an elven kingdom, hey, we need to save this. So right now we're climbing the tree, and I think right now we're trying to revive 3 springs, which because like all their water is dried up,
poisoned,
and
right?
Everyone's poisoned, or
yeah, exactly. Did they actually call it Yggdrasil?
No, they didn't call it Yggdrasil. I think they just call it like the Great Tree or something.
I guess I just always assumed it was because I mean that's a very common thing in games like this. Yeah. In any case, we are climbing up and we're going to the first dungeon. Now this does require a key. They have a bunch of different keys. So you have a jack. You have a queen, a king, an ace, and a joker. Yeah. But the only ones you can actually buy are the jack, queen, and king. And as we just saw, one of the things that's really unfortunate is if you use a key and then leave that area and then come back, you have to reuse that key.
Yeah,
So this is one of those yeah. So this is one of those situations where I accidentally pressed up and I left. I was like, oh, no, I need to get another key here.
There's a lot of backtracking to get keys throughout this game. I feel like that not properly preparing or not knowing how to prepare just doubled the time of the game.
It did. But I mean, that's what they had to do with some NES games. They're like, well, we need more playtime, so here. Yeah, but what was the inventory limit? 8, I think. 8 items. Yeah. So I started carrying around just extra keys. Like I don't want to, fall into this situation. But then you start getting other items, and it's like, oh.
You can't drop keys, so
you can't sell them either. So I had them.
You can sell the Jack Queen King back to a key maker that would normally let you buy them from it.
Okay.
And then you could like use the Joker one on that door and leave. Use the Ace on that door, but you find yourself late game and you're like, I have like actually 3 or 4 inventory slots I could use. Well, guess potions are going in there.
Yep.
Yeah. I definitely ran into a bunch of issues. Actually, I had a Matic that went through the whole game with me because I picked one up thinking, oh, maybe I should keep one in my inventory.
Right.
Yep.
And unless you can find a place to use it, I couldn't figure out how to get rid of that. I couldn't even sell it.
Yep.
Well, we are at the top-ish of this dungeon, and we meet this elder, and he tells us, he's like, hey, good job for getting up here. I need an elixir if you want me to cure this area. And so there just happens to be an elixir in this dungeon, but I believe there's also an elixir you could purchase in the previous town. And so you could...
Yeah, the elixirs will, if you die, it'll just refill all your magic and health, which is super handy. Yeah, unless you use it up when trying to bring it to the elder, and then you have to go get another one. But yeah.
So we've got... So this was kind of the right side of the dungeon, call it east side of the dungeon where the elder is. And then on the west side, you have to kind of maneuver around a little bit, and then you can find yourself an elixir. And I want to talk a little bit about the enemies here, and I want to make a statement and see what you guys think about this. For me, these enemies are the most predictable, unpredictable enemies. And what I mean is I knew, like, oh, if I go here, I'm going to get hit. If I do this, I'm going to get hit. And if you just stand there like nothing's hitting you and they're like, okay, I'm going to jump over this platform, boom, of course I get hit. Like, I don't know if you guys felt like these things were always hitting you in like the weirdest, most random ways. Like, their patterns are hard.
Yeah.
You mean specifically this like snake type boss?
Pretty much the whole game.
Oh, just all the enemies,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, like all the enemies, like they're jumping around, there's bees, just all sorts of enemies.
I was going to go into this, saying that it is a frustratingly bad AI.
It's
because
like
it's exactly predictable. The enemies have like all the enemies across the whole game have like 3 or 4 different attack patterns. They jump, or they attack, or they run really fast, or maybe some little combination of those.
Yeah.
But the flying enemies, like, they'll do the thing where they're bouncing off in the direction that they're going, but then like the bees will occasionally like, oh, I'm gonna duck a little bit lower, and you're like, wait, no, you're going this way.
The DVD logos of death.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it was literally like, I know I'm gonna get hit, and I got hit, and it's like you think that with something that predictable, you could anticipate it and avoid it, and I don't know what it is. It was just like, it was really messing with my head. So
it almost makes me wonder how few hits could be like done in this game. Like, this cannot be no hit. There are parts in this game where it's like there is no way to enter this room without getting hit.
Oh, yeah. I remember one, a specific spot where you exit the door and an enemy's on top of you and you just get hit. But I don't think you needed to go. I think it was like the guy that sells a fire spell or something. Anyways.
Yeah. So we're talking... Yeah, we're talking about... we got the wing boots, and we use this wing boots to fly up to this elder, which is in a fountain that's floating or whatever. And this was weird. Again, I always wonder about, like, was this lost in translation? Because you're talking to this elder, and he's like, oops, fell asleep, ha ha ha, oh, I'm awake again. And he's like, oh, this thing's been poisoned and he cured. I don't know. It was really, it was like, what is.
He also had multiple typos. He had poison as posian. And instead of guru, he said guri. It's just like, what? Is this guy drunk? I don't.
He probably was.
He probably was.
Low oxygen. I mean, maybe it's got into his head.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I did find it interesting that in order to find him, you had to go to this seemingly innocuous area that had nowhere to go. And one of the villagers is like, hey, by the way, go to the big hole in the sky and you can use your flight boots to get up there. And of course, yep, there you go.
Yep.
And I'm actually kind of wondering if you can soft lock your game by being too high level at that point and not having enough time to get up there with the wing boots. I guess you could probably chain together wing boots.
Maybe, I don't know.
I know it's challenging.
That'd be interesting.
But yeah, so you go. I think he tells you go to a guru or something, and the guru inside of that man.
You have to go to
dungeon,
the first spring.
Yeah, the first spring.
And we use that Joker key to open that and go in there, and we had to fight another one of those big gargoyle blue things to get to him. So it's the second time we've had to fight them. And if any little RPG game has taught us, is that bosses you fight early game become normal enemies later.
Yeah.
Basically.
And you get that Joker key, and you can go get the third spring here. And you probably saw me fumbling around a bunch. I knew I needed to move. Yeah, in the town, they tell you once you've got all this stuff and you have this ring of ruby from this guru, you can move this rock, which will open a secret passage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd think generally moving the rock is like you're kind of pushing up against it, but I don't know what I did to open it. But I just
you have to push it for like several seconds.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, I walked from the right to the left for like 3 seconds and then it moved. But yeah.
When it didn't move right away, I walked away from it and I went everywhere else I could. I grabbed a Matic and I'm walking around trying to use it everywhere. And I'm like, fine, can I just like keep walking? Oh, there it goes.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that area I always consider is like the dam area in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? Everyone has always gotten played through part of that, but never has beaten it. And so now we're going to get into the really unknown stuff where like you've probably never seen this, right? So you get through that secret passage and you go to this new place.
Mist.
It is Mist. It's got a lot of graphical issues going on, but it's kind of like this. The idea is a meteorite hit and it caused a big burst of dust or something to kind of obscure this area. So, we're in this town called Misty.
Yeah, it looks like they tried to do some sort of like cobweb effect over the whole screen, and it just everything looks messy and like it's hard to tell what's going on sometimes.
It's rough.
Yeah. This is the long part of the game that's just covered in mist.
It is. Yeah.
It really did feel like the game the whole middle of the game, was like in all of these misty areas. You started out in a nice kind of bright, earthy area, like the bottom of the tree, and now we're just climbing the tree, and it just is all mist. Until later on we get to the top, and we're out of the mist.
Mm-hmm,
yeah. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the dwarves here. So, when I think of dwarves, there's a couple traits that come to mind. What off the top of your head, gentlemen, like give me some traits of a dwarf in a fantasy game.
Short.
Underground.
Bearded. Big nose.
How about dragon wings?
Oh yeah, right.
So, how about giant mechanical beasts that are like 15 feet high?
Yes.
Well,
yeah, okay, definitely.
One was a dwarf that was transformed. The other came out of the meteorite.
Yeah. So they kind of they talk about how there's these dwarves and there's like the king dwarf and you'll fight these guys. And I just find it amusing. I'm like, why are these dwarves?
So they were dwarves. The story of the game is that the meteorite crashed and the evil one emerged from the meteorite and began corrupting and transforming the dwarves.
Hey, that's the wrong episode. We did Metroid Prime last month. Alamaxia. We're so good at these segues, though. Like how we plan this to just kind of flow. So you got
bananas.
one area of corruption.
Good job.
Hey, so we are in this mist area, and we got clued off that in the town called Misty that there are other shops around this area, and they kind of give you a clue. They're like, hey, look up. There's some powerful stuff. I think we'll get back there at some point. But yeah, in this town of mist, or this area that's all obscured by the mist, there's all sorts of little housing units around, and some of the housing units you enter, and there'll just be a dude like running at you, like
enemy,
wants to kill you.
And you can't use your sword indoors, no matter where you are. So it's like, well,
you can
use
magic.
With magic, but yeah.
Yeah, and you can't even equip your sword. But I think that's a
or
good,
items.
Or items, yeah. So maybe this is a good time. Lobos, he's kind of our armament master, weapons master.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about the equipment in the game.
Sure.
And, the different stuff there.
Yeah. You almost entirely get your equipment from purchases. Start off with the dagger, you move to a long sword, not too long after. And then there's like, I don't remember the exact name of the mails. There's like leather, and then there's like a studded mail, I think, and you get some armor and stuff. When you have it equipped, I think you can say it on the player screen, but yeah, it doesn't show up in your inventory at all. So sometimes, at first I was reading it and I was like, I don't remember if I have this equipped or not. You can also get shields, and then for item usage, you equip one item and then you have to press down and B to use it, and then magic is used by pressing up and B. Mm-hmm. And there's I guess the other unique case is the wing boots, where you have to hold A and then you can fly around the screen. But while doing that, sometimes you have to fight in midair, and maybe you're flying up and you want to strike at something, but that's up and B, so you use your magic and you're like, wait, no, I didn't want it. Because the magic,
and then your character falls to the ground.
Yeah, I tried to use wing boots in air, and you cannot. So, yeah, I tried to give myself a head start. I jumped up and then tried to use it, and you can't.
So whenever that villager gave us a hint, there's like a hidden shops out there. Look up. My brain went, well, you use up to enter doors, so you walk around everywhere and hit up like as I'm walking, and eventually you find this place by just like flying up into the air in the right place.
Yeah.
Or you can actually, I think you can actually jump over some platforms and get up there as well.
Yeah, you can do some jumps.
That's another way.
Yeah.
But that's your, you get death, right? So if you remember, you could have got death about, 5 minutes into the game, and now we're, call it 3 hours into the game, and death is available. Here's something interesting. In the start of the game, death is 125,000 or 12,500. Yeah. And this vendor was only selling out for 9,800. So that's actually interesting, because most of the time the prices are going up. Like a key of Jack is 100 at the beginning, and then by the end it's like 400. So that was the one situation where it's actually a little cheaper to wait.
Yeah, and he sells cheap red potions too. I think they were only 300, so I did a lot of stocking up there.
Yeah, red potions are great. I love those.
Yeah.
And you were talking earlier about how you equip the potion and then use it. Mm-hmm. It was always a little dangerous to have that potion equipped when you're fighting, because I, on more occasions than once, accidentally pressed down and B during combat, and when I was already like full health or near full health, and I wasted a potion. But then there's also a thing of like, well, if you don't have it equipped, you could die and not get to it soon enough. So there was this kind of balancing act of like, all right, when I was about a fourth of my health left, I would then go equip it and then use that. But you were talking earlier about elixirs.
Mm-hmm.
Elixirs are nice because that is your safety. It's like, okay, well, if you accidentally mess that up, you die. That'll resurrect you, but those are a little pricey.
Yeah.
And what's nice is the elixirs don't take up an inventory slot. They're just like a buff on your character.
Exactly. Yeah. So we are in this, it's really hard to describe even what we're looking at here.
We're in the Tower of Suffering.
Suffer.
Oh, yeah, Tower of Suffer, yeah.
Suffer. The background is I don't know, something straight out of Stargate, I'd say. It's got like these weird, almost like hieroglyphics in the background here. And we're fighting a bunch of these dragons here. And I think you can skip some of them, but this one in particular, you go to the very top and then go all the way to the east, and there is a dragon there that we're fighting. And I'm keeping this in the video just as an example of what not to do, because there's an item here which seems really cool, right? You got the pendant. Okay. So you look up in the manual. By the way, did anyone look at the manual? Because I talked about how awesome.
Right,
it's so gorgeous.
The manual is so good. I used the map of the manual to help me figure out where to go.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. But the pendant in the manual says, hey, it increases your damage. So I was like, oh, yeah, now we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I started noticing that some of the enemies I was killing in 3 shots were now taking 4 shots to kill. So I was like, is this one of those... I can't remember. Was Final Fantasy 1 one of those where it actually weakened?
Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy 1 had a lot of issues with the spells not being properly coded.
And, all sorts of things.
Yeah. So sure enough, I looked, and it was actually kind of funny because I think at least the way I read it, the game was programmed to give you the pendant at the beginning of the game for the purposes of damage. And then when you pick it up, it effectively removes the pendant from you in how they're calculating damage. So yeah, don't pick up the pendant.
Yeah,
bad news there, and that's a big bummer because there's no way to drop that pendant. So it's like,
yeah, it's a key item.
As far as I'm concerned, that I beat this game in challenge mode.
Right? Yeah. I mean, who would pick up a magic pendant anyway? So
yeah.
Looked cool.
And there is a magic cane that we'll get a little bit later that says it buffs your magic, and that actually does buff your magic as far as I can tell.
Nice. Look at this dude. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's so many situations where you go up a ladder and the dude just walks on top of the ladder before you can get up. So you're like, I guess There is one notorious spot, I don't know if you guys encountered it, with the Wolf Knight dude.
Yeah, where you literally could not get past him.
Oh my god, I had
to death warp.
Oh, I looked up a walkthrough tactic for that. That works. Yeah.
Is that later on here?
Yeah,
I don't remember the wolf.
In one of the later, almost done, like second to last areas, I think.
Okay.
Now, we haven't talked much about, dying in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Because this isn't a game where you die and you just go back to your last save point, like you just saved, and you got to progress all the way through again. As long as you just I just want to continue, you'll go back to the guru that you last saved at. You'll have a lot of gold if you had no gold. It's based on your character's experience, and you still have all of your items. So really... all you lose is the XP that you need to the next level. So at some point you can be like, I'm out of gold. Just go die, and then you have 12,000 gold in your pocket.
Oh my gosh.
I did that a lot. I was like, all right, I'm going to buy this shield. Okay, and then I'm going to go die, and then I'm going to buy all these red potions. So
you can even do that, I think, very early in the game. Like I think you can go to the king and keep getting 1,500 gold over and over if you go to him with nothing. I think.
Oh, interesting. See,
nice.
I died, and then I actually ended up with less gold than I had because it was early or whatever, and so I was like, oh, okay, they're probably like half your gold or something, and I noticed the XP being gone, so I did my best to avoid the deaths.
We didn't talk about the levels. I mean, we briefly talked about it, but did we talk about the titles at all?
Oh no, we talked about rank a little bit, but yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
well, why don't you go for it, Lobos?
I mean, I'm not sure what all they did. Like we talked about how if you're higher rank, the wing boots will last less.
Yeah.
But you can go to a guru in town, and based on your XP levels, they'll be like, I will classify you as the title blah, and you get like, at first it's like soldier and like warrior, and then you end up being like knight, lord, and I think lord's the biggest, or the highest one.
I just got the title superhero.
Superhero, yeah.
And yeah, that is like we talked about, when you die, you lose all your experience and except for Well, basically, you have a gate of your level.
Gotcha.
So you can't go below that. And then again, I think I was actually a little fuzzy on the gold. Do you actually get the gold that the level has, or do you get the gold that you had the last time you got your mantra? Alamaxia, did you?
I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like I had more gold than when I had last saved. Whenever that happened.
Yeah, it's
maybe just level based as well.
That's what I think it is. That it's level based.
Okay.
Because if you go,
it's really weird to think like, hey, whenever you die, you just respawn with all the gold the level is conferred to you. It's like, okay.
And you keep all the items.
Yeah. So
dungeon delving is a one-way trip.
Exactly. I'd like to think that I was death warping to my advantage, and really just speeding up the game here. All right, so a little bit of summary where we've gone. We had to go to this dungeon previously where I got the pendant. There's some wing boots in there. You want to go pick up those wing boots, and after that you get those wing boots. You can traverse this area, more of the mist area, and go to the next dungeon. And we are the purpose of what we're doing now, or what we're trying to accomplish now, is we need to go get the piece of the meteorite that the dwarves are religiously like worshiping or something. I think that was more or less what I got from it.
Yeah.
And they say
I think it also poisoned the water.
Yes.
It is the corruption.
Yeah.
The corruption.
It's the phase-on of this world.
And you are told from this dude two things. One, when you pick up this meteorite, it will turn into this item called black onyx. Mm-hmm. And when you get this black onyx, come and see me, and he'll give us a key to go to the next area.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to know what these dudes are. They look like they're maybe banging a drum here, and they do this big, presumably screen-damaging effect. Alamaxia, do you have your
Those are Sugata, a mysterious musician that pounds upon a magic drum at regular intervals. The magic drum will attack you regardless of where you stand, and there is no way to block it.
And sometimes you can't get to them in
right
time.
away.
And I actually found that magic didn't really do much damage to them. Like I was hitting them with three things of death, and you didn't go down.
Mm-hmm.
So those were a little challenging. Now, interestingly enough, there's a couple of areas in this mist area, or a couple dungeons in this mist area. As far as I could tell, there's really nothing there. Like there's maybe a red potion you can pick up, but I don't know if you guys found those areas.
Yeah,
like,
there is one that had no purpose.
Just those little drum banging dudes that would just kill
me. I went in there and cleared almost all of it, and I was in bad shape, and I was like, I'm not doing that again. Like, I'm not gonna go finish that place.
I did get the hourglass because I was like, all right, well, maybe this area is supposed to be one of those where you're supposed to go buy the hourglass, which was kind of a lot of money. It was 5,600, which is like half my gold. And this is before I really realized the death strats, right? So the stop glass will stop all the enemies, not bosses, but stop all the enemies on one screen. And it did work on that area where there's a bunch of those musician guys, but I just felt like, to get through one room without taking damage, 5,600 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, was a little disappointed in that. So we've got, we're going into the next dungeon. I don't know if we know what tower this is, but it looks very much like Suffer. But there's a new type of enemy. I like to call these dudes gladiators because they kind of look like a gladiator. It's got a big mace, like a big mace.
They've got an even better real name. Mask Man.
Mask Man.
Mask Man.
Does have a mask, yeah. What are these? Those were like, those little guys. They look like Furbies.
Gary Buta.
Honestly, they look like dwarves to me. So.
Well, more than anything else in this game, I guess.
Well, those enemies that we fought, the little gladiators, are actually where range is really starting to come into play here. So again, the dagger has a pretty short range. We've got a long sword, and we can hit the gladiators before they hit us with the long sword. But pretty soon we're going to be getting this 3-pronged sword, which I think looks so cool.
It's cool.
It's basically like a sword trident, but they don't call it a trident. They call it
it's a giant sword.
Giant sword. but it looks cool. And then utterly useless for real combat, but it doesn't matter because it just looks so cool.
Well, you would normally have one sword, but this has 3 swords on the end. 3 is
There you
more
go.
than 1. Which means it's
That's
better.
true. Yeah. And we are at the boss here. Who knows what this actually? Alamaxia, I know you probably know what this is called, right?
Zoradona.
That's a cool name. I love it. Do you know how to fight Zoradana?
I just stood in the middle of the room and it bounced right and left over me. Once I got a little close to it, it would bounce the other way. So I would just keep walking left, right, and poke it along the way. But if it touches you, it hurts really bad.
Yeah, real bad.
Really bad.
Oh, we picked up that black onyx, and we're gonna go back to this dude here. That he'll give us a little bit of exposition here. He's basically saying like the dwarves they are unchecked. They need to be. I don't know if he specifically says killed or eliminated, but he basically says go.
I was gonna say that the elves and the dwarves used to live in harmony.
That's
They
true.
they used to have like trade and everything, but once this meteorite crashed and corrupted them, then really the elves are like you need to. Some of them are like you need to cure them or you need to stop them.
Yeah.
So and a lot of them are even like we look forward to having that trade again with them.
Yeah, it just so happens that stop means kill. Right.
Well,
they
at
don't,
least
they don't
the
make that
leader-
distinction.
The corrupted leader of
it's
the dwarves.
implied, but
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
implied.
guess so.
They don't spell it. I'm not telling you gotta kill them all, but
Okay.
So we got the ace. Oh yeah.
I wanted to mention how inconvenient this part of the game is because
Mhm.
you start to go forward and you get to the next town and you're like, cool, and then you find some doors that require the king key, and they don't sell the king key at this new town, so you have to like backtrack all the way back. I bought like 4 king keys. I'm like, I'm not going back. And then I did this stupid thing where you enter and then you leave on accident. I had to go
and you
back
have
Well,
to go
again.
get more
it's-
keys.
It's
Yeah.
one worse than that too. Is in order to get to where we are now, you have to talk to the NPC to get the
Right.
ace key.
Right, yeah.
So you got to go buy your king keys, go get the ace key.
Make sure you have an inventory slot empty for your ace key.
Right,
Because
yeah.
if I found that if you get that item whenever your inventory's full, it will overwrite the last item in your inventory.
Oh, see, I was worried about that. I thought it was going
It
to
will.
soft lock the game. So I was like, I'm not going with an empty inventory.
Variable overflow.
Oh my gosh.
But we're going to like the top of the branches, and you can go to the left and to the right. So the right is where the crypt path is going to bring you, but the left is going to be another boss, and I believe we get a battle helmet here.
Oh yeah.
And the
That's
battle helmet.
The first of the required items.
Wait, are these actually required? I didn't know
Yes.
you needed
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
Wait,
required.
why?
'Cause
Oh, to get the
they
key
do-
to the ring, right?
Yeah, he won't give you the ring unless you have both the helmet and the battle plate or whatever.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And it's a little bit of a bummer because I'm like, all right, cool, I got a battle helmet,
Right?
let's put it on, and it's just like, I'm like, put it on.
No.
It's like, all right, well, I wonder why I can't. Maybe I need. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. So we go to the right. Of course, we got to touch some poison to get there, which is nice. By the way, there's these little vials of poison. Actually, there's a couple temporary items. Let's talk about poison first. If you touch poison, I guess you just decide to rub it all over your body and you take damage. There is an ointment, which that makes
yeah.
sense to rub all over your body, and that makes you more or less invulnerable to, I think, only physical contact.
Yeah, like body. Yeah, body touches.
And then there's a glove, which increases your damage. Your
Does
physical
it?
Damage.
I didn't
Oh,
notice
gosh.
anything.
Does
I
it?
didn't notice.
Does it?
I don't know. Yeah, actually, good question.
I think it does.
Okay.
Yeah, but I find it so funny. Like, there were spots in the game where you get to the end of a room, you killed all the enemies, and there's a little potion, and you're like, oh, sweet, like a red potion. You hit it, and it's poison, and you're like, they got me. But then there's one in this back and forth spot that's not even like, it's not like baiting you. It's just in the way, and you like have to touch it. Like if you're going from left to right, it's like, okay, Unless there's like a pixel perfect jump you can do, but I never managed to.
That's one where the screen transitions and immediately puts you on the poison. Is that right?
Oh no, I was talking about the one where you come up the ladder and you can go left or right.
Okay.
Just before this, yeah. On the steps. Yeah.
Now,
So we're in a town called Conflate. Go ahead, Alamaxia.
I was gonna say, in walking around, moving around, did either of you catch on that I believe your character gradually picks up speed to a certain point?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I found that there were some jumps in the game that you had to like do a little hop and then keep that momentum to get that next jump over. I just found it really neat how I hadn't come across, a Nintendo game that really had that kind of mechanic where your character gradually builds speed, let alone in this game.
It also
I actually didn't notice that.
Oh, you didn't notice that? You also do it on the ladders if you're climbing sideways. So like,
I did notice that.
Yeah, so it's kind of ridiculous, but.
Well, there was a character we met in this town called Conflate, which I love because it's completely nonsensical. She says, so you go to this bar, and she says, do you want to know what I do in this town? I'm the pickpocket. And I'm like, what? There's so many things wrong with what she just told me.
Right?
I don't understand, but I love it.
She doesn't have to be a good one. She just is one, right?
Just the brazen nature of like, yeah, I'm the person that's going to steal from you. And I was wondering, like, did she steal my gold? Like, what's the purpose of that? Nope, as far as I can tell, there's nothing. World building. Yeah.
Every town's got to have a pickpocket, man. She knows her role.
That's true.
They got to stay employed somehow.
So I don't know if you guys, we're in this upper section now. We had to use a king key to get through here. And there's like there's a gap you have to jump that's kind of in the middle of a bridge. But you can actually drop down there. I don't know if you guys did. And it saves.
I was worried I was going to die.
It saves you using a king key. Because you go down here and to the left, and there's a king key door. I swear I'm saying king key, not king. Anyways. But yeah, you fall on top of the level, but then there's an entrance like a couple screens over. So yeah, it saves you
I know exactly what you're talking because I think there's even poison there, and I was
wondering how to get to it.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's weird. Why is that there? I don't remember if we get to that in the video. I might have cut it out because I don't think it's part of the crypt path. But this tree we're in, there's a lot of different branches, so to speak. You have to go up, and up is the crypt path, but down is another one of those. What are the Zorro whatever?
Zoradona.
Zoradono. You kill one of those dudes at the bottom right, and you got a battle suit. Still can't equip anything, and then very close to that, you can go to the north, and you get the magic rod, which I think in the manual is called the magic cane.
Oh, they refer to it as a cane too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I did not find that item.
Oh, yeah. Improves your magic. And yeah, you might have skipped it, but then a couple screens to the left, you have to go. You have to backtrack up, and on the screen, you're climbing up a ladder, and there's a little knight dude who walks right up to the top of the ladder. You can't beat him there, and he just waits and sits there, and you're like, and as soon as you climb up the ladder, he'll smack you, and it knocks you down, and you're just, you would be completely soft locked, except you can die, or I read in a walkthrough, if you like, just very lightly keep tapping up, there's eventually, like, if you have to move up like a pixel each time, there's eventually a state where he like stands, and it doesn't aggro the knight, and you're standing, so you can actually attack. So then you just mash and you can kill him that way. But I was like, no health left. I was like, how do I do this? So I looked it up.
I love this game.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so janky, but it's janky in a fun way.
Oh, I also love how like you're seeing here how there's a gap, but like the enemies will just walk on the bottom of the screen, like as if there is no gap. But then
I was like, oh, there's something I can walk on? Nope. he can walk on it, but I can't.
Yeah.
Well, we've got, of course, we got the battle helmet, got the battle armor, still can't wear it, but we did go back to one of the gurus. I don't remember exactly where he is. He might have been in the town of Conflate.
I think Conflate, yeah.
And he gives you a ring of dwarf.
Dwarf.
It's
dwarf.
D-W-O-R-F.
Dwarf.
D-Dwarf.
Dwarf. So we got that. That allows us to
enter. It allows us to enter.
enter
Land of
this
the
area.
Dwarves.
Okay.
What's it called again? They had a name for it.
The Ring of
remember.
Dwarf. Oh, the
The
world?
area.
Area. Oh man, I'm gonna have to pull up that instruction manual because that has the world information in it.
Oh,
while you
it
do
is
that. Oh, you got it?
Well, it's the land of the evil. Or is it the? Oh God, that's hard to read. The town of the evil place.
what?
Whoa.
So
Okay.
we are
Different name.
we are in the evil place,
The evil
Alright.
place.
and then we are going to be
There we go.
entering Darkmoor Castle.
Oh, maybe
Coming
that's
up.
what I was
Oh,
remembering is Darkmoor.
That's a cool name. That is some
Yeah. Darkmoor
fantasy.
Castle.
Yeah. I love that.
Perfect.
So we are in. You said we're in Darkmoor Castle right now, or that's
Mhm.
where
No, we're in and around Darkmoor. We're in the
Okay.
evil place right now.
we're in the evil place before Darkmoor Castle. By the way, I feel this is so like goth, right? Like it's so goth it hurts. I love it. There's a doorway you kind of go around. This is a very large area, but there's a doorway, and he says something like, "Do I need a ring to enter?" I'm like, I don't know, man. Like you tell me. I can't see what you're seeing. So anyway, you go in and you've got to work your way around. Are we in Darkmoor Castle now?
Yes, we are
Okay.
in Darkmoor.
So you went from this place that had this red background to something that had this like really cool dark blue background. I
Mhm.
love the transition here, and the tile or like the walkways are this silverish gray looking thing. Very cool. And there's two things we need to do actually no, one thing we need to do. We have to navigate this labyrinth to find a sword, right?
Yep, we have to find the
Yes.
Dragon Slayer.
Yeah.
The Dragon Slayer. Yeah. And so we're just going to walk around here. There's a bunch of branching areas, if I remember right. Yeah, this is the one where there's a lot of
big area.
And
very big
I looked
area.
at the map, and this is, I think, the only place in the game where there's actually like the middle of it is like a long hallway that wraps on itself. So
Yeah. Mhm.
it's
I think
easy
that's
to
right.
get confused because only that section wraps around, and
Yeah.
you're just like, this looks the same. Is it the same place? I don't know. But yeah, this, yeah, two spots here. There's a guru in here, and then
Yep.
the
And
So
I'm
the
boss
guru will
even
have to come back
saves.
here.
yeah.
Yeah, he the guru here we have to come back to after we get the giant sword. So, well, we'll warp back here when that happens. But one of the enemies we just fought before we went into this guru area was really cool. It almost looked like one of those things from War of the World.
Yeah.
Where it's got like this big kind of saucer thing on top, and then I don't know, like 4 spindly legs that are walking on the ground.
Yeah, super
Very
long
mechanical. Yeah. I gotta say, I've got a special spot. I love a lot of the monster designs in here because they are
They're cool. I like the
They're
big,
imaginative.
like the snake thing. Like it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a snake
we're
marshmallow.
as we're watching the video here, I'm really starting to appreciate like the architecture and how different they made all the paths look. It wasn't just like the same tile repeated across the whole line.
Yeah.
They interwove all these different just parts of the ground. They make neat shapes out of them.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But now we're
And
fighting
then,
the king of the dwarves, the dragon.
Yeah, the king of the dwarves. He starts with a G, right? His name?
Yes.
General Grievous or something like that, right?
Grieve.
Grieve. Yeah.
knew it
Yeah.
was something
Yeah. I
like
was gonna say
Grievous.
Grieve sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So this dude was actually a little rough. I died the first time I fought him.
He was rough. He did a lot of
I
damage.
think we're fighting him again, but just because I can't get enough of fighting him, which is good because we didn't talk about him. So let's talk about him. What does he do here that makes it so difficult?
He does the same exact thing as the first boss we fought, except he shoots a lot more fireballs a lot quicker and does a lot more damage.
Yeah.
I really face tank my way through this dude.
Yeah.
So this, man, I saw you using it, but you get a new spell that's like 15k, I think, to buy called like Lithe or something, and that one, I don't know if I couldn't tell if he had like moments where he was invulnerable to the damage, but like I would shoot it so it would explode diagonally up and hit him when he's in the air, and I feel like it only took like 4 hits or something like that to do that.
That magic
very
is
expensive
extremely
spell
powerful.
though. Yeah,
It was very
Yeah.
expensive.
especially with
yeah.
the magic cane or the rod or whatever.
Yeah, that was a weird one because every single other magic in the game will go completely horizontal. This is the first one that goes horizontal and then straight up like 45 degrees diagonal.
Yeah.
Now with that dwarf king we just fought, I ended up using the hourglasses against him. I found that it didn't stop him, but I don't know if it was a glitch, but like for the first a good 10 or 15 seconds of the fight, he wasn't shooting fireballs. And I was just like,
okay. That's
but
cool.
taking a bunch of touch damage from him.
Yep.
Yeah.
After you kill King Grieve, you get the Dragon Slayer sword. And once you equip that, you now look. It looks very familiar. Doesn't this look?
Now you're wearing that battle armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you look kind of familiar, like a familiar video game character. Does anyone?
Ghouls and ghosts, and goblins.
Was that Hudson Soft, by the way?
Was
this
it?
game was made by Hudson Soft, so I'm just curious who made Ghosts and Goblins or Ghouls and whatever.
I'm gonna
Capcom.
Capcom. Okay,
Oh yeah,
so nothing...
Capcom. Of course. Yeah, no.
Yeah. So not, but honestly, it looks the same.
Yeah,
it's really crazy.
Similar.
But you can't unequip this after you equip it. There's no going
that's funny.
back.
I didn't even try, but that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to, but I think they might even mention that. But yeah, you can't unequip this, unlike the other armor. And we are in the very last area because after getting that sword, we go back to the guru. The guru's like, "Hey man, you are ready. Your Rocky montage is done. I'm gonna give you this this ring of demons, and you got to go into this area where you're questioning, like, hey, do I need a ring to open this door or not?"
Mm-hmm.
And we go in this area, and this is a absolute labyrinth, which I lucked into finding my way pretty quickly. Lobos, did you figure it out pretty quickly?
At this point, it was 1:30 in the morning, and I was like, I'm going to look up the walkthrough because
not a bad idea.
I saw the map, and it was like, okay, there's like wrapping areas, and you need to get to this one door, but it's a maze, and I was like, so I followed their instructions that got me there very quickly. If you use the wing boots like from the first room, you can just fly through like I think only like 3 screens, and it gets you there real fast. So
I explored and explored and explored, and
I hear
it was difficult. It was difficult because of all the different. I mean, it's not just wrapping around. They do. It's like portals of doors. It's like this whole castle is a paradox. Where you would enter a door like on the left side on one side of the castle, and you would exit on the other side, like in an area that's like surrounded by other rooms. It's like there was, it felt like there was no logical way to progress through this, just because it was like I went through here and I'm suddenly at this other place that
you just have to map it all out and be like, okay, now I'm in this room. Where does it connect to? I recognize that one. There, put it there. Like,
It kind of reminded me of some of my
what path haven't I taken?
Yeah, exactly. It kind of reminds me of some of my least favorite dungeons in Zelda 2, where like you're falling down multiple areas and
the whole game is pretty reminiscent of Zelda 2. Like jump, attack, like side scroll, same kind of.
The towns I think even had felt like they had some of the same characters. Like there's a man that's walking around the first town that looks exactly like the basic NPC from Zelda 2. Exactly.
Nice.
Well, real quick before we get to the end boss, you see at the bottom left there is some ointment there that you can pick up. If you pick up that ointment, you will basically win the boss beat the boss without taking any damage. So, but the problem is you need wing boots to get back up from it. So that's a cool little fast strat if you happen to have those. So we're going to enter the last boss here. Who wants the honors of talking about I think it's crazy. It's a dwarf. It's the evil one in the evil place.
This is the thing that's been corrupting the dwarves. This is the alien.
The thing from space.
Oh, this is the alien.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the dwarf itself. Okay. So who wants to talk and kind of finish up the fight for us here?
I don't even know what
by the way,
it
kind of looks like.
I face tanked and just wailed at him, just hacked away as much as I could. But this ATST looking alien is just walking at you, shooting fireballs, and you just got to keep hitting it in its big ugly head. It's really not. There's not much to this fight at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of red potions, but it does actually look like the alien from Aliens, right? With two bipedal legs, and I think it gets lower as you take damage. I'm not sure, but it looked like it was getting lower. But
yeah, the walkthrough path has you go right past and grab that ointment, and then run there, and then you don't even.
Oh, so you did you actually grab the ointment?
Yeah. Because it's on the way. Like you come in from the left side of that screen from where you go, and you already have wing boots active, so you just grab it and then you go up. You can do it all in one trip, even with the highest level, highest rank.
Hilarious.
Yeah, pretty trivial.
That's okay.
The speed run of this game is quicker than all of this took. It's crazy. Like looking back at the game and how long it took me to play through it, and just like looking at these people just quickly do their thing. I'm like I felt like I didn't even get through this like misty area. I just kept taking so much damage and having to go back. It's crazy.
After you fight that and kill that alien thing, you're warped to the king, and the king says, "Hey, good job. Dwarves and elves are great now. We're all cool." And then I think he says, "Oh, but you're going to leave us for your next journey. What a restless guy."
Oh, yeah, what a restless guy.
And then you just walk back. I actually think that's kind of cool. Like the beginning of the game shows you walking towards the town, and the end shows you walking back. And that's Faxanadu. I finally beat it. Like after all these years of never like as a kid, I got it and played it, never beat it. So that was another for me, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was a little feather in my cap. So super excited.
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
And of course we had we got some B-roll footage going on right now, but let's talk about Patreon real quick, and then we'll kind of loop back to you guys. So we got our Patreon screen there, kind of thanking everyone, and we got some exciting news. We not only hit our Patreon goal of 25 people, we actually exceeded it. We hit 26, so we are a bunch of overachievers. Woo! Thank you, everyone,
Thanks,
so much for your support. Love to see it, and the people that helped make that happen, amongst everyone else that was in the that credit screen, we got. Oh boy, I think it's a koala vader.
Oh, koala vader, yeah, like a koala.
Maybe it's
elevator.
koala vader. Yeah. I think koala vader. Daniel Warren and Nightfish. So thank you for your support.
Thank you.
And everyone knows because they've been hearing for 52 episodes. That means we're gonna be playing Earthbound, 2-hour episode now. It's not going to be the next episode. It's going to take us some time, so please be patient. We'll try to get to it very quickly, but it's a long game. It's going to take a lot of time to edit, so we are going to have that. But again, thank you everyone for your support on achieving that Earthbound. And just as a heads up, if you want to continue supporting us or start supporting us, you can head on over to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Gaming Show to join the other fabulous people that have helped us out. And before we move on, I just wanted to check in. Lobos, Alamaxia, give me your closing thoughts on Faxanadu.
God, Lobos.
I guess I should call someone first. Yeah, Lobos.
I was jamming the whole time as I was grinding and yelling for getting knocked off the screen and having to run back and everything respawns and having to go back and get my keys. But it was an enjoyable experience, kind of a typical Nintendo action experience. So, yeah. I didn't play it when I was a kid, so it was cool to experience it now. Yeah, totally.
For me, it was, I don't know. I probably won't go back and play this one again now that I have played through it, because I really didn't feel like there was that much to the game. Like there were different enemies, but half the enemies had the same exact, AI and movement set. The towns were deserted except for the people that you had to talk to were the shop owners, and it was frustrating. It was frustrating to go through parts of this game. Now, it was fun. It was fun to experience it one time, but I think this is one game that I think I only want to experience it once.
I tend to agree. I think this is probably a one-off for me. It was a cool experience, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, I'm glad I beat it. It was cool. It was iconic. It's probably not something I'll go back to again, but who knows? Maybe in a couple of years I'll get the taste for dwarven blood, and I want to go kill some dwarves or something.
Or maybe you go play the next Dragon Spirit game.
All right, so you've all waited an hour to know what the heck Faxanadu is. Alamaxia, please take it away.
So Faxanadu is considered a side story of Dragon Quest II Xanadu. And because this was released for the Famicom, it was the first of the Dragon Slayer games to be released, I believe, on the console. It's a portmanteau of Famicom and Xanadu for Faxanadu.
Wow.
Yeah. And I looked up those games. They are rough looking. I'm not going to lie.
No.
This game did a lot for that series.
Yeah. It was on the MSX amongst other systems,
wow.
but the MSX was definitely
Nice.
one of those. And yeah, I looked at it, I'm like, oof, yeah, that's this game looks amazing compared to what was going on there.
This has left-right movement.
It's true.
Impressive.
Truly,
And
only
jumping.
the power of the NES can support that. That is great. Well, thank you for checking out this game with me. You know, Alamaxia, I know next month you're going to be kind of busy, so it'll be just a episode with Lobos and I, but you have any good segues to get us to announce what game we're going to play?
We fought a whole bunch of stuff. We fought a whole bunch of dwarves. These dwarves were living in a tree. Where are dwarves supposed to live? Underground.
Underground. Yeah.
Under.
Under the world.
Under the world.
Under the world. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to be playing... Oh, did you have another one?
I was going to say, maybe we'll find the ultimate enemy in the underworld.
Yes,
Yeah,
we're going to
nothing.
be playing Ultima Underworld. And this is one of those first-person dungeon crawlers that I think everyone thinks of when they think of that genre. This and probably like Eye of Beholder are the two most classic RPGs. So it's kind of a long game, but it's pretty cool.
I'm excited.
And I'm excited.
I'm super
Yeah,
excited.
I'm
I've been
excited as
in
well.
a big dungeon crawler binge lately. I just
Oh, yeah.
been looking for something, man, itching for more. So I can't wait.
There you go.
I'm excited.
It's perfect timing.
Mhm.
So look out for that one in March. Yeah. Man, this year's already blowing by us. It's already coming to March there.
Mhm.
Well, sadly, we have reached the end credits of this episode. And of course, wanted to thank everyone for listening to us on the podcast or watching us on YouTube.
And be sure to follow us on Spotify, Anchor.fm, iTunes, wherever you follow us. Make sure to give us a like, give us a comment. Let us know what you think.
And if you have any feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email at SaturdayMorningGamingShow@gmail.com or on Twitter at SaturdayMGaming.
And if you're listening to us on a platform that allows you to rate us, please do so. And of course, a special shout out to TechnoAxe for much of the music on this episode.
For Saturday Morning Gaming, I'm Alamaxia.
I'm Lobos.
And I'm the Fat Wizard. We'll see you in March with Ultima Underworld for the PC.
Bye!
Bye.